Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Let's Talk It Out podcast. I'm your host, Alec Lifschultz, a.k.a. Trey Busy. I'm happy to have you guys back. I haven't talked to you guys in a couple weeks, and I really miss doing the podcast. I miss having this conversation. It's a very necessary conversation because a lot of people don't feel like comfortable talking about it, but I really do appreciate people that do come in and do want to talk about it. And the whole purpose of it is to let others know that it's okay to not feel okay. It's okay to seek help, and there are people out there that are willing to help you, and they're out there that are willing to give you resources. So a couple weeks ago, I had Bobby Phelan and Tyler Julius on, and I really appreciate both those men for coming on and having a conversation. But I just wanted to switch things up a little bit because last time I had two guys. Now I have two very strong and intelligent, smart women that are really, really impactful in the mental health field tonight. I got people in the chat room saying we're ready. What's going on, Natty? What's going on, everybody who's coming in? Yeah, I'm fired up for tonight. Man, I don't even want to go on too much further. I just want to introduce my guests tonight. My first guest I have coming in. Hey, Mom. My mom. I gotta speak with my mom when she come in. My first guest I have coming in is Alicia Daniel. Alicia, I want you to come in and tell people a little bit about yourself.
Well, good evening, everyone. As Alex said, my name is Alicia. I actually have my bachelor's in human development and family studies from Purdue University. I also minor in sociology. Currently, I hold a position at a Head Start facility in Chicago, working as a family support directly in correlation with children and families.
Very nice, very nice. And again, like I said, I got two special guests. So my second guest is Arianna Diaz. Arianna, tell people a little bit about yourself.
Well, thank you for having me on again. Hello, everyone. As you said, my name's Arianna. I recently graduated with a master's in social work with a concentration in mental health and addictions. I also have my bachelor's in the same field. I currently work as a therapist at a counseling agency in Northwest Indiana, and I'm very happy to be a part of your show.
Thank you guys for taking time out of your day to come have this conversation with me. Have people talking about go Boilermakers. This is my auntie talking about some go Boilermakers.
I know that's right.
Hey, I'm from IU. Wait.
Look. We ain't gonna start with that talk in here. All right.
We can all get along. For the common good.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're just gonna dive right in there, man. As you guys notice, if you scroll down a little bit. I posted a link that Alicia sent me earlier. It's to help you find self-screening tools for you to see what's going on with you, what levels of your anxiety that you have. It's something I posted. The website is www.screening.mentalhealthamerica.net. Again, I posted it inside of the chat room. It was about maybe 20 minutes before the show went live. If you guys scroll down, you can see it. And for people that are listening back, it's www.screening.mentalhealthamerica.net. So, I mean, they got depression tests on there, anxiety, bipolar, psychosis tests, eating disorders, PTSD, addiction, work health, treatment service. I mean, it's everything that you want to go through just for you to see. If you feel like you're experiencing something, you just want to get like an idea of where you're at mentally. It's a good tool for that. So, Alicia, again, thank you for sending that to me. And I just wanted to make sure that people had access to that. Jackie's saying she's going to go check it out. Nice. So, without further ado, again, I want to dive right into it. As we was having a conversation before we jumped live, Arianna and Alicia are both telling me how they both experience anxiety. They deal with it and they cope with it. And I'm gonna go ahead and start. I introduced Alicia first, but I'm gonna go ahead and start with Arianna. Arianna, I want you to tell me about the first time you experienced anxiety. Like, what was that like for you?
Oh goodness, where do I begin? Well, just a little personal background. My parents divorced when I was 4, and it was kind of a nasty divorce. So I think I probably first experienced it then, but I didn't know really what it was. I just knew that I would get, quickened heart rate, worry about a lot of things. But fast forwarding, I noticed that I really had bad anxiety that I actually was clinically diagnosed with when I started college. I think just the stressful environment of being in school, a lot of changes, a lot of, you're becoming an adult. I noticed anxiety would hit me. I also have pretty bad anxiety attacks where, I feel like my heart's going to pound out of my chest and shortness of breath, quickened pulse, all of that. So, I've had it for most of my life, but I really noticed what it was and started asking questions about it when it became more severe when I started college.
Yeah, and when we're younger, we don't really have too much an idea of what's going on with us. We just know that something doesn't feel right. And,
right, exactly.
For me personally, I thought it was something wrong with me health-wise. I remember going to admit myself into the hospital because I thought I was dying. And it was really terrible feeling. It was terrifying, because you don't experience that. You never experienced it before. And it's just, I remember I was 17, 18 years old that's what I remember when I first experienced it. So that's when I went to go find out what was going on with me. And they did an EKG and all that. And they said, oh, everything's fine with you. I was like, oh, well, I don't think everything's fine. So like I said, it's something that that you have to learn about. It's something that we're not taught growing up, which is very strange. But I don't want to leave Alicia.
Exactly.
I don't want to leave Alicia left out. I feel like we're ignoring her. Alicia, I'm sorry about that. I want to ask you the same exact question I asked Arianna. What do you remember when you first encountered anxiety?
The first time I encountered anxiety. It'll be pretty similar to Arianna, more so with the stressors of being a college student and having like everything on your shoulders. But I didn't really honestly experience it full blown until I had a horrible breakup with a relationship, and I could not sleep at night. I wasn't eating for days. I did not know what was going on with me. My heart was constantly racing every time that I felt that I could lay down or maybe take a break or catch a breath. My heart would instantly start racing again. And I'm like, what is going on with me? But I was just happy and glad enough to like be in this field and be aware of my mental health status to go seek therapy services. And my therapist was an amazing person for me and changed a lot for me.
And I want to ask, I'm going to start back with you, Alicia. I just want to ask, like, what are some techniques that your therapist told you about how to handle it? Like, what anything that's outside of, a bottle of medicine that helped you cope with dealing with the anxiety when it did flare up?
I think the first thing she did tell me was to live in the moment. She also told me to seek other things and start doing things, meaning more so like doing things that I enjoy. Again, instead of out with friends more. It could even include having a drink or having a conversation with somebody, going to yoga, finding other things to keep you distracted, but maybe things you enjoy too, because you'll continue on doing those things as well.
Excellent.
And then she did obviously, recommend some natural herbal supplements instead of taking like that medication route. And that actually helped me a lot. That's something I do tell a lot of like my friends or family members to take when they are like having trouble or feeling stressed out or having anxiety.
So can you give me some of those natural herbal supplements that list some of them so I can put them in the chat room for everybody to, refer to?
The main one, honestly, that I would recommend is L-theanine, and that's spelled L-THEANINE. L-theanine. You can actually find that anywhere. I bought mine from Walgreens. It's similar to melatonin. Let me tell you that. It does not make you sleepy, though. It is recommended that you do take it at night. If you do take it at night, I would take 2 pills, and it does help you relax. It sends signals to the brain to help your brain and your thought processes relax, and that helped me. That even helped me to get through my work day. I would just take 1 pill, and I would be just like, I hate to say it like this, but happy-go-lucky, relax, not on edge, not stressed, because obviously, I'm dealing with all these other things, and then I have to deal with work and my own personal things that are going on with me. So that was really like a good guide for me. And then eventually I just obviously stopped taking them, but you cannot get hooked. There's no side effects for that. It's really, really great. So I do recommend that.
I spelled it right, chat room. If you guys are wondering, I spelled it right. Actually, let me make sure. How you spell it one last time, Alicia?
L-THEANINE.
I knew it. I told you I spelled it right. How about that shit? No, I'm kidding. I'm sorry. Just wanted to make sure. I don't want my audience to go try to find something and it doesn't exist because I spelled it wrong.
Exactly. And obviously you do like the other medications just so they don't, interact with each other negatively, but typically it doesn't. I've done my own personal research. That's the biggest thing. Research before you take something.
That's completely understandable. As the chat room says, EJ4312 says, #stump the stigma. We have to provide more education around mental health awareness and resources. Exactly. And that's why I've had these 2 ladies on tonight because, they have resources that I wasn't sure about myself. I didn't know about myself. So even something as simple as an herbal supplement that they could supply at, the local convenience stores could help you out when you're dealing with anxiety. I didn't know that. So Arianna's over there probably just chilling, wondering why we haven't said anything to her. Sorry, Arianna. I'm just.
Oh my goodness. I'm listening. I'm enjoying the conversation.
I just want to ask you, like, when you're dealing with your anxiety, like, is there any ways outside what Alicia said that you find that helps you cope with it, like helps you, relax your mind in a way that you just move on from it at that time, like when it flares up?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, there's a ton of different ways. It also depends on you personally. There's different things that work for everybody. As Alicia mentioned, I would always recommend, I want to make this a point, to try natural supplements, natural treatments before completely switching over to the pharmaceutical side, because those can have a lot of nasty side effects. So thank you, Alicia, for mentioning that, as I know she's tried that. Me, myself, it's changed over the years what helps me. I'm kind of a dork, and I make different playlists of like happy music that can get me out of a funk. I also use breathing exercises. There are quite a few different free apps that help you meditate. When I find myself really stressed out, usually I just like to count to 10, take a breath, different things like that. I try to, like Alicia said, live in the moment, try to take it day by day, and try to really find those things that you enjoy. So I notice days where I feel really upset or anxious or just like in a funk, I try to hang out with my friends, reach out to someone you love, hang out with my dog. I have a pit bull and I hang out with him a lot. He helps me a lot. Just different things that you can find that are enjoyable for you to kind of bring you back to the present and bring you back to a more positive mindset.
Excellent. I do appreciate that. It's not dorky to have playlists, because I have playlists on my Apple Music that I use. I literally have one, and I'm going to tell you the exact title of that playlist. I'm not even kidding. I have a playlist called Breaking Free of Mental Shackles. I made it myself, and there's about the exact numbers. There's 72 songs on there, and the whole purpose of this playlist is for when I'm feeling down, or when I'm feeling like anxious or something, or like I'm feeling stressed out. The whole purpose is for me to cut this playlist on, and just these songs that are on that playlist just help me refocus myself on what the bigger picture is, what my goal is, what I want to accomplish for that day, or put myself back in a positive mindset. And I mean, like I said, it's funny you said that, because that's not a joke. That's not something that's silly or dorky, because it's literally the title of the playlist is Breaking Free of Mental Shackles.
Absolutely. Right? I mean, music is therapeutic in and of itself. A lot of people may not realize it, but even if you just cut the radio on, you're maybe having an or okay day, and your favorite song comes on, you immediately go, oh, okay, this is my song, and you immediately get in a better mood. Having a playlist like that, I mean, I say it's dorky because I've had some people like look at me weird because of it, but I'm like, hey, this playlist comes on, it switches up my mood, and again, it gets you out of an uneasy or an anxious or an upset mindset, where it can kind of snap you out of it and get you keeping moving with your day.
Natty says, yay, I never really have wanted to have medication, so thank you so much for your guys' suggestions. My mom says, I love the natural approach. These ladies are giving great suggestions. I got two people requesting my playlist and to send them my playlist. Don't worry, I'll send it to you guys. You can get it.
Something else I wanted to mention quickly, sorry to cut you off, is if you're into the more natural approach too, there's essential oils. You can get an oil diffuser, lavender, and different essential oils. Sometimes they can be a little expensive, but look on Amazon. There's a bunch of different oils that you can look up that are just meant for reducing anxiety, clearing your mood, different things like that if you're into that. And just smells really good, makes your house smell good, and can kind of, again, help you without having to go the more pharmaceutical approach.
As you said, I have an oil diffuser right now. It's burning lavender right now. So just so you guys know, that's not just talk. That I use that myself. I use the music playlist myself. I meditated for about an hour ago for 15 minutes. Just so I could refocus my mind on the night. Because I was a little anxious myself. I was like, okay, I haven't done a show in 2 weeks. Okay, I gotta bring some heat tonight. I gotta bring it. It's been 2 weeks. The listener's been waiting. I had to refocus myself earlier, just so I could calm down and deliver a good show for you guys. My mom says, good food for the soul, happy music. Yep, something just to uplift you. Something to bring you out of the funk. That's the whole purpose of it. So I brought these ladies on because I wanted to ask them a little bit about anxiety with themselves, but I wanted to also go on to talking about being in relationships and you or your partner dealing with anxiety, and how you guys interact with each other and ways to help each other, cope with it, and to be more understanding of someone who's dealing with anxiety. Because a lot of times when someone is dealing with anxiety, there's like a feeling of it's like you feel helpless because you feel like you can't help them out. You feel like you're just there, and you're just, this person is just feeling like the world is about to crash up around them. You're just sitting there, and there's nothing you can do to help them. And I just want to, even if we're dealing with ourselves, a lot of things we get anxious about in relationships is, what if someone's lying to me, or what if they don't love me as much as I love them? What if they're cheating on me? What if they like someone else better than you? I mean, it's anxiety is so normal, but people think it's not. But people that have it don't think it's normal that they feel that way. You get what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people feel like people that have anxiety are cast away, like they're not like everyone else. But you are more like everyone else than you realize. So I just wanted to say again before I start throwing out questions. Anxiety is not something that you should feel like that makes you different than everyone else. Like everyone else is just living happy, normalized. No, anxiety is normal. Now, when it goes overboard, when you get a little bit too anxious, that's when you get these attacks. So I don't want to feel like I'm preaching or nothing like that. I do have 2 guests. I'm sorry, guys. I know you guys didn't come here to listen to me. You came to listen to the guests. Sorry about that.
No, it's good. Preach it out. Preach it out.
So, yeah, like I said, I mean, it's normal. And it puts people, like, when it gets overboard, sometimes you get like a feeling of fight or flight, with that type of feeling. It's like a natural reaction to it when it flares up. Like, it's like, okay, I got to do this, or, this is going on, this is going on. So I wanted to ask the ladies, get a little personal, obviously, because we're talking about dating now. What? Why are you laughing, Alicia?
Feel bombarded.
I'm sorry. The hope. I mean, this conversation is a real life conversation. I'm sorry. These are real life questions. You gotta get the people what they want to hear, right?
No, and I completely agree. If I can help anybody in any aspect by sharing my story or any aspect of my life, by all means.
So I'm gonna start. With that being said, I'm gonna go with Arianna because I'm Alicia. I'm gonna leave her alone for a little bit. Arianna.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask you, dating wise, have you ever been like in a relationship or even dating somebody and it's like you just get a feeling of anxiousness about the whole situation, like like you're feeling like knowing again like the questions I asked earlier about does this person like you as much as you like them, and are they really lying to me, are they cheating on me? Because these like feelings, these thoughts are like little seeds. So when they get planted, they could grow into problems later on down the road in the relationship. Like once you get that idea that you feel like somebody's doing something, then you start acting on that. You get what I'm saying? Like it's like
yeah.
I'm gonna let you go ahead and talk. I don't want to keep going.
It's okay. No, I understand what you're trying to say. I mean, definitely I've struggled with it in relationships, especially ones in the past, where, like you said, I question, do they have good intentions with me? Do they really want to be with me? Do they like me as much as I think I like them? Different things, or, are they cheating on me? And like, unfortunately with anxiety, those thoughts just pop in your head and it's hard to control them. Like, obviously none of us want to experience that. None of us want to have those doubts in our head, but definitely it's come to be an issue in some of my relationships. And the best thing I can say to help that, and that I've learned to work with it, because I'm going to have anxiety, it's not going anywhere. We obviously have some preventative measures, but some of them don't always last the longest time. What I would say is the best thing you can do with your partner who has anxiety is to just have really open and honest communication with them. I eventually had a really understanding partner who was able to speak with me and be like, hey, I understand you're anxious. You're questioning me a lot about my motives. I was very insecure on top of it. And we just had like a really nice, open like conversation. We talked for hours about, I've struggled with anxiety. This is how I feel. This is kind of how my anxiety works. And we were able to work around it where we were able to have a really successful relationship. So I think just the best thing that would be able to help with that is just being really open and honest with your partner. And if you see them struggling with anxiety, be like, hey, you know what, I've noticed these things. Is there any way I can help? What can we do to make this relationship work around it? What can I do to help you?
Yeah, I mean, just being open is the huge.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and again, it goes back to people thinking that they would get judged for dealing with anxiety, or they're different than everyone else. It's
right, because there is a stigma along with it. It is, you know, a mental health issue, and it's incredibly common. I was just flipping through my phone, and adults struggle with anxiety disorder, and that includes 8% of that being with children and teenagers. So a lot of people struggle with this. It's just like we don't talk about it. So that's why I appreciate podcasts like yours, you know, where we talk about these issues and really get it out there to reduce the stigma.
And again, I appreciate people that are professionals in the field that are willing to come on and talk about it, because I know for a fact, like, I mean, some people go to work all day. They don't want to come home and talk about, you know, work while they're at home.
I mean, at work, we get to see, you know, a few people a day, maybe up to, you know, a few more. But I mean, this reaches a more broad audience, and someone who's maybe not ready or doesn't know about those mental health services that are out there. Maybe this can help someone, you know, feel comfortable talking to someone, or even just get those resources so we can reach a wider audience to, again, you know, to spread the message of, you know, anxiety or mental illness isn't, you know, a horrible thing. And we all just need to be able to communicate with each other to help each other.
Yeah, my mom says keeping a transparent, open, and encouraging lines of communication. That's huge. That's a huge thing. You know, keeping it transparent.
Mm-hmm. I'm saying hiding your secrets from somebody in any sense, but nonetheless, what you're struggling with mentally isn't going to help anybody. You know, being open and honest, because if you want to be with that person, you know, being open and honest, especially if there is, that needs to be a key component of a relationship.
Absolutely. So, with that being said, I feel like we've been ignoring Alicia. Alicia, time to put the spotlight on you.
Shine on.
So, when in a dating past, or even if in a relationship, have you felt like that the anxiety that you have gotten in the way of it? Like, have you felt like has it affected the relationship negatively?
I would have to say yes. And I'm saying yes because I feel as though not only myself, but everyone kind of experiences that anxiety being in a relationship, especially, you know, we're all old enough that this is not our first go around being in a relationship with someone. And you bring those past fears, and that makes you anxious in your new relationship. And that kind of comes out wrong. And a lot of people don't realize, like, anxiety can cause you to act out selfishly, especially when in your newer relationships, because at times you focus too much on like his or her or your own concerns and problems instead of focusing on your significant other as well.
So when the anxiety does come into relationship, I mean, like I said, like, it could be something as small as you thinking that they're not going to text you back quick, and that they're out doing something they shouldn't be doing. Like, these thoughts, and I promise you, everybody who's listening in right now has had this happen to them, right? There's a feeling of there's always a feeling in the back of your mind, because, like you said, this is not our first go around. You know, maybe in our last relationship this has happened, so we carry that on into the next one, thinking that person is going to be the same exact way. I'm not, you know, innocent from this. I've done this myself. You know, you need to understand that this person is different than this person. So things that you dealt with this person shouldn't move on into this relationship. That's why it's very important for people to, you know, take time to heal themselves, you know, go to therapy, especially after a long-term relationship. You know, some people think, you know, they get over an ex by jumping right into another relationship, and that's one of the most unhealthiest things that you could ever possibly do. Ever. But this is not a relationship. This is not a relationship counseling podcast. I'm sorry. I just want to throw that out there, though, for people that are listening. You know, you shouldn't just jump from relationship to relationship. It's not a job. Okay, you can go job to job if you want to, but you shouldn't just jump from relationship to relationship.
Yeah, that's true. And that's a big emphasis on always taking your time to heal before you put yourself in a different situation, because you never know. You may still have those past traumas and those past hurts, and that can cause you to have anxiety and carry on into your new relationship and destroy that good, positive relationship that you do have, or that you are trying to build with someone.
So there's certain things that I'm looking at that just, and it affects all of us. Like, when an anxiety, sometimes people could be a little controlling in a relationship because of their anxiety. They could be angry and more irritable, distracted and having trouble focusing. on things, or they can come across as overly critical is a huge one. You know, being overly critical of someone because you feel like they have to do something a certain way or it's not going to be right. You know, you just get a little anxious, like, I need you to do this or I need you to do that. Perfectionism kind of thing, you know, and it's just so funny thinking about it because it's something I've experienced myself. I mean, like I said, everybody has dealt with it before. So one thing that for me personally, if you are with someone, everybody should seek some sort of therapy in their life. So not even just relationship therapy, but you should encourage your partner or yourself personally, if you haven't, to go see a therapist. I mean, these two ladies could definitely agree with me on that. You know, you should go see a therapist because that's going to help you become more well-adjusted to life. My mom says many times tell all the people, she said many times tells all, and people will show you who they are. Be sure to believe them and not be in denial. Be healed, whole, and confident in yourself. That's 100% true. Again, I'm sorry, guys. I feel like I'm getting a little preachy. This isn't Sunday. This is a Thursday. My bad.
You know, you got to take them to church sometimes, Alec.
I'm not gonna ask for an offering, just so y'all won't run. I'm kidding. Not really, but anyway. The best thing for us to do, again, if you don't take nothing else away, is learning how to communicate openly and be honest with your partner. You know, with your expectations and things that worry. You know, let them know what you're concerned about. As far as like, again, this goes back to. I'm just gonna keep preaching, man. I'm sorry. I just got y'all just sitting there listening. I got two guests. They're just not talking. I'm taking over, man. I'm taking over. Anxiety can be scary, but it can make you want to avoid talking about it, and that's a huge thing that you have to talk about it. When you're in these relationships, a lot of people relationships fail, and they keep failing, and it's a vicious cycle. It keeps going on and on and on. We see these posts on social media all the time. Oh, men ain't shit, or women ain't shit, and they don't realize the relationships are not going like how you want them to go because it starts with you. It starts with your own mind. It starts with yourself. Because if you are healthy and you have a strong state of mind, you'll be able to identify other people that are healthy as well and have a healthy way of living. And you could notice things that are unhealthy about them early on. You know, certain things, like say they keep the stuff for you a certain way, or you know, how they open up with you, they seem like they're hiding something from you. It's all connected, man. I'm telling you, mental health, your own mental health is connected with how your relationships are going to go. Period. You know, if you're able to, you know, I'm still preaching. I'm sorry, ladies. I'm gonna ask you guys some questions because I'm about to go off the rails a little bit. I'm about to just keep going. I'm finna turn to Bishop T.D. Jakes over here. I'm sorry. One last thing I want to say is a lot of times when we're dating someone and they have dealt with anxiety, you feel like you miss out on some things because they get nervous. Like say if you with somebody and you want to go to like a concert or you know like a game or something, someone that has big crowds, a person gets anxious about it. You feel like they just never want to go to those, and you feel like you're missing out on a lot. But what you need to do is you need to be understanding of that person. And even if I'm still preaching, man. What? Oh my God! Hey everyone, Glass is late to the chat room. I'm overwhelmed over here, man. I'm over here sweating. I need somebody to hit me with the fan. I need the bottle of water.
You getting some anxiety right now?
No, I need the choir to sing a song for me while I sit down and relax. I need a fan going. No, but for real though, man, like the biggest thing is to understand yourself first, and then you can understand others. That's the biggest thing. I went completely off the rails. It's 30 minutes in. So, Arianna, I'm going to go back to you. I got a question for you.
What's up?
So, I know we spent 30 minutes talking about anxiety, but I want to flip the table around a little bit.
All right.
I want to flip the table around, and I want to talk about the big D word, depression.
Dun dun dun.
Depression. Man, depression. I myself can attest to a couple years ago, just I used to be out, be around people, be around friends and family, and it's just like I'll get like an empty feeling, like a numbness, and it's like I just feel like I'm just there, and I'm most people that know me know I'm a very social person. I could talk to people, talk just about anything, but I'll get to the point where I'll just like pull myself back in a little bit, and person I'm with is wondering like what's going on with you, what's wrong, and I'll be like, oh, nothing, I'm cool, I'm fine, ain't nothing going on with me. But your whole vibe just changes. So I can understand like the depression is a man. It's killing. It's destroying people. It's destroying black men. It's destroying black women. It's destroying communities, and nobody knows that they're dealing with it because it's something that we're not taught growing up. So I want to ask you, Arianna, have you ever experienced depression at all in your life?
Oh yeah. Usually, well, I shouldn't say usually. A lot of times, depression and anxiety kind of go hand in hand. Often they're diagnosed together. They can be very similar. They can have a lot of the same symptoms. So the same things apply with the whole open communication thing, just making sure to be open and transparent with your partner. But a new part that comes with this, and it should go with anxiety as well, is being compassionate. I've struggled with depression for most of my life, or at least as long as I can remember, for various reasons. And the one thing that's always helped me the most is just having someone there in my corner, whether it be a friend, a family member, a partner, just be there to support me, even if they don't really know what's going on or going on in my head, just having someone there to talk to, vent to, have someone there to give me a hug, anything like that. So I've definitely struggled with anxiety, and it can be, and depression, excuse me. And, the same rules apply as anxiety.
Always having someone to talk to and be open with is very nice. It helps you out a lot.
The biggest killer with anxiety and depression is, loneliness and not having anyone to talk to. So even if you don't have a friend or someone you can, communicate with, it's best to reach out to a therapist to have that someone to be there for you and someone to talk to work some of those things out. Because, a lot of people underestimate the power of just communication. Us as humans, we're social people. We need to talk, and it's best if we can just use that to our best ability.
Jackie says isolation is definitely a sign of my depression creeping back in. So slowly pulling yourself away from things, like even things that you enjoy, and they don't feel like you enjoy them like how you used to. I mean, it's definitely a sign. EJ4312 said depression is destroying our youth, and it's onsetting much earlier.
Absolutely. I've been seeing a lot more kids lately that have signs of depression and who don't understand what it is. And, you just have to work your way through it with them. It is definitely taking over, and a lot of people are getting it a lot younger, for sure.
And I'm seeing things like 10-year-old kids committing suicide and stuff like that. Like, come on, man. You're 10 years old. I mean, for lack of a better term, you haven't experienced shit yet in life. Your life shouldn't be that. I mean, it sounds kind of funny, but seriously though, like you're so young. You haven't had anything, like you haven't experienced much in life, and for you to feel like that is so overwhelming to you that your only option is to take your own life at that age. It's so sad, man. It's so sad. I mean, that's important. It's so important these parents start paying attention to their fucking kids, man.
I mean, please. I agree. I mean, with my background, I work a lot with DCS clients, so I see a lot of the ugly in the world, right? I see kids who are abused, mentally, physically, or otherwise. And sometimes I have kids as young as 4 or 5 years old coming to me with some of these symptoms because they've had a rough life. So even though they are so young, unfortunately, there is, a large section of our society that does face these traumas early on where they do suffer from anxiety and depression because of it, a big part of your childhood that reflects on how you act as an adult. So just to touch on that, but definitely is sad that it keeps attacking younger and younger.
And again, man, it's just sometimes just having an ear to someone, letting them know that you actually care is huge. Be a mentor and find a mentor is what EJ4312 says. Yep, absolutely. You need to make sure that you're all right. You need to go see a therapist, but even then, you need to pay attention to people around you. If they start acting unusual, they start acting different than how they, just not being themselves. You could tell because, again, like I said with myself personally, man, I could talk to people all day, but like I'm out with a bunch of friends and family, and all of a sudden I just legit just push myself to like just go sit down somewhere and just like a little isolated, start being like a little quiet and a little more to myself kind of thing. You could just tell people are just acting out of character. Alicia, I'm sorry. We moved on without you. You probably over there twiddling your thumbs and shit. No, I'm kidding.
No, I'm listening.
So, Alicia, I want to ask you, and I get we were talking about dating, we were talking about anxiety, but I just wanted to ask you personally, have you ever struggled with depression in your life?
Yes, I have, and more profoundly recently. I obviously, obviously, Alec, that I did lose my father about a month ago. And that's when my depression really kicked in for about a good 2 weeks after his death. And I isolated myself from everybody except for like maybe a handful of people. But I was content with just being by myself, not doing anything. It was days that, and I'm ashamed to say this, that I didn't even want to get up and go bathe. I didn't eat once again. I didn't have an appetite. And that was because that was something really, traumatic for me. And it really took me a while to just sit there and really tell myself, okay, so how can you get yourself out of this funk? Let's go back into getting into routines. Routines are a very good way to kind of snap yourself out of your depression or your anxiety modes. So that is something that I did, really try to do for myself, just to create and maintain like balance in my life. And I had to learn to do that all over again. And just like, Arianna touched on earlier, anxiety and depression goes hand in hand. And I do definitely experience anxiety more often than probably the next person. But depression really did not kick in until obviously I experienced something traumatic. And I didn't even know I had it until, this recent trauma for me.
Again, I mean, I spoken to Alicia. I told her, I'm sorry for your loss. We have people in the chat room said condolences. Sorry for your loss. Huge things like that can affect you, and that's normal for you to be like that. I mean, again, you said you didn't even realize that you were dealing with depression. So I'm gonna go ahead and quote friend of the show, Justin Atkinson. One thing he told me, and it's like, because Justin deals with depression heavily. He told me how he pulls himself out of it is just by taking account of little things that you accomplish for that day. So waking up, that's an accomplishment. Getting out of bed, that's an accomplishment. Making your bed up, that's an accomplishment. Just building yourself up to pull yourself out of that. And that was huge too, because that's something I think about and I apply to my life. Like just little things that you accomplish, they build up and they equal wins. They still count as wins, those little things. So I just was something I want to share with you guys again. We talked about it, me and Justin, but I just wanted to give you guys that information. Take account of the little things that you accomplish because they mean a lot. So I'm gonna go back to Arianna. Arianna, how are you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm thankful again for you guys coming on tonight. It means a lot. My mom says my condolences and she's praying for you and sorry for your loss, Alicia.
Thank you. I appreciate it, you guys.
Yeah, I mean, just letting somebody know that that you're there for them, that you care about them, and I want to say this too, completely off the record and off conversation, I should say. Reach out to somebody, man. Like that whole being proudful thing of I don't want to text someone first thing. Like fuck that, man. Like I'll text them. I don't care if I was the last person to text. I'll text somebody, like let them know, like, hey, how you doing? Hey, what's going on with you? What are you up to? What are your plans this week? Or what have you accomplished? Things like that. Just reach out to people and let them know that someone actually cares. Because reaching out to someone, even if they don't reply, they get the message. So as long as they get the message, someone out there, like whoever randomly pops up in your mind, I do that shit all the time. And people could tell you that know me, that know I will do that. I will literally text somebody out of nowhere, but hey, what's going on? Hey, what you have going on? And I'm pretty busy. I mean, most of the time I'm working 6-day weeks. I'm working content. I'm creating content for the show. I'm a busy guy. Even then, I still make time to reach out to people, and that's huge to let them know that someone actually cares. That helps people out too that are battling depression and stuff like that. Just let them know that someone actually understands them and someone actually cares. That's huge to do that. So, like I was saying, I want to go back to Arianna again. I pulled away from her, got a little sidetracked, but I always come right back.
You're right though, because even just taking those few seconds out of your day, just be like, hey, what's up? How you doing? That can make somebody's day or even week by just, yeah, it can even save their life. Just having, they might think no one's out there, or no one cares about them, and you just being like, hey, what's up? How's your week going? Like, what do you got planned? Takes just a few seconds, and that could completely make their day and turn their day around and be like, wow, someone's, talking to me, someone cares about me, someone wants to know about what's going on with me, and that can open up a whole wave of conversation that can really help someone.
And I legit do come out of nowhere too. Like, it'll be a random time.
You come out of nowhere.
it'll be a random. It'll be 1:17 p.m. Hey, what's going on with you? How you doing?
Dang, I'd be asleep. I hit you back in the morning.
No, I mean, it's just when you think about somebody, reach out to them.
Mm-hmm. There's a reason someone pops in your head like that. Take it as a sign.
Absolutely. I had someone, and this is a true story. I'm not going to say their name because, I don't like disclosing people's name, business like that. But I had someone tell me that, I saved their life. And I was like, what do you mean? And it was like, well, one day I just literally reached out to them to say, hey, how you doing? And what's going on with you? And they just told me that they were feeling down. And I was like, well, I just want to let you know that you are one of the nice people I ever met. And Jackie says, Alec, you are really good about reaching out. See, I'm telling you, I'll reach out of nowhere. But this person was saying how they were feeling down, and I reached out to them, say, hey, how you doing? What's going on with you? Blah blah blah. And I let them know, like, hey, you're one of the nice people I ever met. I like hanging around. But I'm glad I met you and stuff like that. And they told me that they were about, I want to say, minutes away from just taking their own life. They were about to overdose on pills. And I stopped them just by reaching out to them. So you never know, reaching out to someone, what can that do or what can that mean to that person? You never know. And that's why I say I do that shit all the time. Like, I literally, out of nowhere, literally, what I say earlier, 1:17, it could be 6 o'clock in the morning. Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing? What's new with you? How's your weekend? How's your Sunday going? Because there's not enough people out there that actually give a damn, man. And that's sad. Mm-hmm. That something as simple as that could get to the point where it means that much to people. That's very simple. That's a very simple thing to do. But people just don't do that shit. It's crazy. I should challenge everybody who's listening today, even tonight, someone that you're thinking about, and the whole texting, that, double texting people thing, I don't give a fuck about that, man. I don't care if you don't reply to me for a month. I'll still text. I'll still text. My auntie making fun of me, telling me, so why are you up so early? You're like an old man. You know what? I'm up early and I'm up late too. I'll never stop.
He's over here hustling.
I'm working my ass off all the time. So I wish I could sleep in, but it's like, especially in the summer, once that the sun comes up at like around 4:45, 4:50ish, that you get that first little speck of sun, boom, I'm up. So in the wintertime, I probably sleep a little bit more, but that's understandable. I'm completely sidetracked now. We're at 45-minute mark. I was about to go on to Arianna again.
Still here.
Still here. Appreciate you still being here.
Present.
So I wanted to ask you: have you felt like that again, we both said that they go hand in hand, but have you felt like your depression affected like your dating life, or relationships?
Yeah, the short answer is yes. Again, the same thing with anxiety is like I go through more seasonal depression unless there's something that obviously upsets me. Just like Alicia said, she had a big upset in her life when her father passed away. That was obviously something that can bring on a huge wave of depression. Mine kind of comes in waves depending on what I'm doing. I usually also get depressed in the winter. A lot of people don't talk about that. Just like the less sunlight, cold weather, you get more depressed. But it's definitely affected my relationships in that sometimes, like a lot of us do, and I'm seeing a lot of people in the chat, you kind of seclude yourself. You're like, I want to be alone. And that's obviously not what we need to do. We need to fight against that. But, I've neglected talking to my significant other about it, and they just think I'm ghosting them or just choosing not to talk to them. That can cause a fight, can lead to other things because I'm obviously not trying to fight and they think something else is wrong. So it can just cause different conflicts. But again, just being open and honest with your partner is like the biggest thing I can stress like a million times over is like if I would just communicate with them like, hey, I'm going through a phase right now. Here's what I go through. Here's how I handle it. And having someone be there to be like, okay, reach out to me if you need it. I'll give you space if you need it. Keeping them in the loop to avoid those different conflicts. But yes, I've definitely struggled with it, and I've found different ways to work around it, including the good communication.
Good communication is like, again, it's, it always comes back to that, doesn't it? It seems like communicating it's always somewhere in there. It's somewhere in the answer.
That's always what we need.
Good communication, it prevents a lot, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
So we need to be more sympathetic, compassionate. I mean, we just need to just be more understanding of people. Seasonal depression is very real. I just wanted to say that I agree with you 100%, Arianna, because when I was working outside, man, I knew I had to be out there. Man, those are some dark times, I'm telling you. Literally,
you wake up, it's dark. You go to bed, it's dark. Everything's dark.
Literally and metaphorically. I mean, you wake up at like 6, 7, it's dark still. You get home around 4, it's dark. It's literally dark times. Literally.
The cold weather, you're secluded, everything. I mean, we don't go out as much. We don't have as much social interaction because we're cold and we want to stay inside. It gets to you. You don't get as much vitamin D from the sun. That really impacts us as well. So yeah, definitely seasonal depression is a big deal. And even people struggle around the holidays with depression for various reasons. A loved one passed, it reminds them of something. They don't have a loved one to spend it with, different stuff like that. That can definitely bring it on.
Jackie said I use one of those seasonal depression lights. I sit in front of it during the winter, and it's great because winter is extremely hard for me. My mom says honesty is the best policy. She said, and I allow the people that want to support us to do so and not feel we are a burden or too prideful to reach out. Yeah, just don't. Again, man, finding somebody like Arianna said, finding someone that you are open with and that you can communicate with at any time is huge. That's a huge thing. And one thing Alicia said is finding a routine to stick to, man. Like, she said time where she didn't really want to get out of bed or, didn't even want to eat. Like, if you have a routine intact, like you have your life in order in a certain way, and it becomes a habit to do those things. So you don't have time to just mope around. You know what I'm saying? Like, you feel like you have to do this. You train your mind to feel like that you have to do these things. So it just becomes natural. Like, it becomes natural as breathing or blinking. Like, you don't think about it, you just do it, That's very important. Just 2 things I just take away from you guys. That's, man, I mean, you guys said a lot, but those 2 things for sure. Everybody, the chat room is going crazy right now. Self-care is a critical part. Yeah,
self-care, definitely.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean, I'm going through it too. Again, man, you guys are great. You guys are great. The chat room was great tonight. I wanted to go with Alicia. Alicia, you got any last things you want to tell everybody in the chat room? Any last words of advice?
Especially in regards to like anxiety or depression, I think the biggest thing is like, especially in relationships too, you really need to learn to support your partner, your significant other, your friend, your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister. Learn to do those things. And like you said, like you and actually Arianna touched on, being compassionate is a big thing. Being empathetic, being sympathetic, they're all accepting ways to be supportive, without really trying to change how a person feels. And that's the kind of that's the kind of care or help that may be received very well, especially and positively by someone who does have anxiety and depression.
Thank you, Alicia. Again, you guys, Jackie says, thanks so much to our guests and to Alex. Such a blessing to be part of this chatting community. My mom said, thank you, ladies. Enjoyed your gems. Yeah, I mean, again, I can't thank you guys enough. So I'm going to go to Arianna. Arianna, you got any last words of advice or encouragement to give the people that are listening?
I mean, I feel like we covered a lot of it, but just, like Alicia said, be empathetic, be compassionate. Just reach out to the ones you love, like you said. I mean, even just a little text message or a little phone call, 5-minute phone call can really brighten someone's day and let them know that there's someone there that, will listen to them and have their back, or even just someone to talk to. So reach out to your friends, guys, like reach out to your family, even just like a, hey, how you doing? I mean, that can really mean a lot to someone.
Absolutely. I wasn't just blowing smoke when I said that, and everybody in the chat room was agreeing with me. They know I'm good for that. I'm not making that shit up. I will hit you up at a random time. Mm-hmm. Hey, what's going on? Just bothering you and shit, pestering you. My mom says, appreciate you guys' life-changing, helpful advice. yeah, so I want to thank everybody for listening in tonight. You guys, again, like I said, it's very special for me that you guys take time out of your busy weeks to come have the conversation. If you're listening back and you're subscribed to one of the channels, I really do appreciate that even more. That you guys, I mean, it's the support and the amount of people that pay attention and actually care. It just means a lot to me. It makes me want to do more, makes me want to go harder, makes me want to bring more content. So I just want to tell everybody to have a good week. I'll keep you guys updated. I'm thinking about doing 2 shows next week, but if not Thursday, we're definitely going to have a conversation again. So, again, everybody have a good weekend. I look forward to talking to you guys next week.